studio, everyone can like turn it up and like
I like this.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out step by step.
Kenny, talk for a second.
Hi guys, how are you?
Parker.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, buddy.
I'm going to fight you. What is it?
You're gonna. Oh, that's fine. I just have to turn you down a little bit. Colton, let's hear something.
Charlie.
What's going on?
What's up?
What's
Cameron?
up?
Hello, everyone.
Charlie.
Namaste.
No, namaste.
All right.
Namaste.
Namaste. So what were y'all talking about when I was running around trying to get everything situated?
Are we talking about swimming?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about
Swimming and running.
Swimming and running.
Yeah.
And some
Most
tennis.
exercises.
All sorts of cardio.
Luke, is this good enough for you?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It would be a, you know.
Me and Parker
What?
are
We start
upset.
every episode starts with me talking about the audio.
That's pretty
So-
funny. Just complaining.
Yeah, it's me complaining like no one can
He's
hear.
like, I'm going to quit. I hate this. Anyway, come back to
Mm.
Bro, your drink
My-
is right there.
Where? Oh, all right. Now I have.
Is this just your
Everybody
studio
take it
process?
easy on LaCroix, okay? We don't want another mishap
Yeah.
straight on the
My
interface.
friend David, he's their social media manager.
Oh, really?
He had gave that to me the other week, and so I said it in here. We're gonna get him on eventually, but
Nice.
yeah. So Cameron, tell us about your recent projects. You've been writing.
Do you want to intro the show?
We didn't clap.
No, we don't.
We don't clap anymore.
Kenny, we're not
Kenny,
nudes anymore.
Kenny,
We don't. I
Kenny,
can
just
auto
leave.
edit.
Did you want to intro it, though?
I'll clap for myself.
Well, Cameron, why don't you just tell us who you are? Tell us what you do. We've known each other a few years.
Yeah. I'm Cameron Bogan. I'm a third-year student here at UGA. I'm a public relations major, English minor.
Artsy.
Yeah. So do a good bit of writing, some poetry, journalistic writing as well. I have a website where I'm covering local musicians as well as people just around the country. I had a story with a guy in Nashville recently. But pretty much all my interests just fall back on music in some capacity. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've played in bands. I've been a hired gun for other musicians. But yeah, just all over the place. But everything comes back to music.
Cameron is one of the. And I'm not just saying this because he's in here. He is legit one of probably easily the best songwriters I know personally, and
I appreciate it.
great performer, great singer, guitar player. Yeah, we met at UNG freshman year. Cameron had a Jimi Hendrix T-shirt
That's
walking the
right.
halls in Oconee, and we chatted up a little bit. Then we made it to UGA, and
We're here now.
we're here.
We made it.
We made it.
Luke's doing some on music with school. I can't say the same, but
Nah, the writing's pretty cool. I wish I could do both, but felt like I needed to do
You
the
can.
business. I can. You're right.
Just follow your dreams.
That's right.
See what sticks.
Yeah. Aren't you? You're gonna be in Grady, right?
Yeah, maybe.
big Grady
I'm
guy.
still-
You could say that.
Colton.
Probably.
So Colton is here. What's your last name?
Dillingham.
C. Dilly.
All right.
C.
Dilly.
Dilly.
Colton is friends with Kenny and Charlie, and he was coming to town this weekend. Kenny said, "Could Colton come on and guest us?" I said, "Come on in, man. Colton's a drummer."
Colton,
So-
Colton, can you
The
tell
best
us how
drummer.
The sticks.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how Dillingham was created? Like how that last name?
So back then in like the 1600s, the British, folk, they dealt ham. And
Wow.
I come from a descendant of ham dealers.
Oh,
So you're Dillingham.
That's right.
Wow.
how much
Is
do
that
you charge?
Depends.
Depends on that cut.
Depends on the size of the swan.
Yeah.
Colton, I know you're new here, but I'm gonna need you in that mic a little more.
It's
You're
already
right.
starting. I
The
swear
mic
I'm
Nazi.
gonna kill you.
The
My
mic
first
Nazi.
time. It's your first time. It's my fourth time, and he still yells at me. So
Don't feel bad.
Dude, yeah, maybe soon everyone will have headphones.
I have some AirPods.
Brag.
I don't know if. Whoa.
I got some fake AirPods.
Yeah.
You
Chill.
know.
I have AirPods too, but they
No, he doesn't.
just. I do in fact own AirPods.
No, he
They're-
doesn't.
Prove
Prove it.
All right, Cameron, tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you ended up in Athens, what your goals are for life, what you want to do after college, and what you want to do while you're here in
That's
Athens.
heavy.
It's a lot of stuff. Your life, your dreams, your history.
Go off, Cameron.
Yeah, so I just always grew up a dog fan, just watching football and things like that. My brother went here for his last couple of years of college, and so I'd come up and visit him on weekends, summer. Every once in a while, just come up and see him. Really liked the just everything around here. Really liked the culture. But ultimately, what drew me in was just kind of like the music scene in Georgia. If I wanted to stay somewhere in state and still be able to do something with music, it was a pretty good opportunity there. I had other dreams of, maybe doing something else somewhere else, but ultimately just ended up here. Got denied my first year at UGA, but it's all right. That's if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here right now because I wouldn't have met Luke. So, small world
That's
things, butterfly effect.
Blessings.
Oh, yeah. I spent my first year here at North Georgia and go Nighthawks, but also go Dogs. Transferred in to UGA my sophomore year, and so now I'm at Grady College in my junior year. Ultimately, I'm just I've kind of grown an interest in public relations work, kind of just media management, communications work, things like that. And there's a good bit that you can apply that to with music, especially. We can talk a little bit later, but the promotions that I'm doing with my own music is just kind of tools that I've picked up just with my PR classes and things. It's fun, but ultimately, I'd love to do PR work with something with media related, something music related. I'm looking at internships with a lot of music related companies, Cats Media next week. Talking to them, but also I'd love to work with talent agencies or anything like that, but also still be able to do my own thing with music.
Think you're a little too talented and good looking to be behind the scenes,
I
think
appreciate
you need
it.
to be
Yeah, you mean a front man.
You would
Yeah.
blow up quick in Nashville.
Yeah,
I think I agree.
I think what's holding me back is my confidence. I do a lot of songwriting and stuff itself, but I'm just not confident in my voice, and the thing is what holds me back a lot of times. So it's kind of why I just do songwriting. I'm like, if I can find a career where I can just write something, hand it off to someone else, and I don't have to hear my own voice, it's cool with me. So that's the goal.
It's pretty sweet. I wanted you to. I forgot. I wanted you to come on and play a song, but I forgot to tell you.
Oh, it's good.
We wanted this.
I want to hear
You have to
it.
sing it a cappella now.
Yeah,
right
Maybe
now.
maybe Luke can share some confidence with you.
Yeah, I mean, if we got a guitar here, I can figure something out. Worked with Tommy Troutwine a little bit last semester at We Bought a Zoo Records, and we put together this new song. I haven't really done my own solo thing since I was in high school. When I came up to college,
You have some fire songs
I appreciate it.
that you didn't like very much.
I didn't like them very much. Yeah, I just I don't know. It's just like I said. I think it's that confidence thing just holds me back every once in a while. But I'm growing into it. I think it's something that I talk about a lot with artistry is that your biggest critic's yourself. And I think that's what holds a lot of artists back. And so you just got to get over that hump and just kind of develop your own confidence with the things that you create. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now and my artistry. So,
How do you feel like you're working towards the more confidence?
honestly, just kind of getting things down to a science to where like I do a lot of like songwriting practices and things like that, to where I get like more consistent work and things that like I can get behind. I don't focus too much on being profound or being like deep or anything like that with my music. It's just kind of like just write a good song, get something that people enjoy, and so it's kind of
It's just all sounds, man.
yeah, it's all
Good
just
sounds
sounds,
or bad
good
sounds.
sounds, good sounds, bad sounds. I mean, you can listen to some hit songs and they have the dumbest lyrics, but it's like this, it's not the point of it all the time. It's just about what works, what catches on with people, and you really can't predict that. So.
That's right.
What genre would you say you like most or like most to play?
Oh man, I come from a lot of different influences. Really like '60s soul.
No way. That's
one,
fun.
One thing that I really grew towards really since middle school. It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
Everyone else listening to other things. I'm listening to Temptations, Marvin Gaye.
Spinners, Spinners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I love that stuff.
But '60s soul, Jimi Hendrix blues, blues rock, but also alternative rock like modern stuff, Black Keys, Kings of Leon. Those are like a lot of my favorites. But the man, the myth, the legend for me is John Mayer. Like that's something I can always go back on. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, every album of his just like a lesson in songwriting, and so it tends to be my biggest influences.
Sick. So how did you start in music? Because you said you have songs from high school, but
Yeah.
like when did you start writing or just playing instruments at all?
First instrument actually was drums. I went to a thrift store, and they had like a drum kit for sale there, and so I asked my mom. I was like, "Hey, it's almost Christmas time. What if I just get this for Christmas?" And so I got that, kept it in our basement for a while, and never really got great at it. But I had a guitar that I had when I was like 8, and I never did anything with it. And so once I got bored of drums, I was like, well, I kind of still want to do something. I was writing poetry already at the time in middle school. And so I just kind of crappily taught myself how to play guitar just through YouTube videos. Marty Schwartz. Luke knows Marty Schwartz.
Shout out Marty
Shout out Marty
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Man.
That man, he's taught a generation of guitar players.
Like I feel like he's like related to me. Kind
Oh yeah,
Like I
yeah,
want
yeah.
to meet him. So
I want his
bad.
hats. Like, I just want one of his hats. Those fedoras he always wears in his videos. So yeah, I picked up guitar in 8th grade. Just kind of taught myself, and I took official lessons for like 2 or 3 months, but it was just a bunch of stuff I already knew. So I was like, all right, I'll just keep going with this YouTube route, and I just taught myself guitar through that. I didn't take vocal lessons till I think my senior year of high school, because it was just something I wanted to get out of the way, and I was like, I want to at least get correct technique, if nothing more. And so I picked that up then, and but yeah, everything's just been a little bit one step at a time, buying different, better guitars, getting different, better equipment, and things like that throughout the years.
You recently sold me a wah pedal. Are you stepping back from the electric?
No, I'm just I bought that Strat a little over a year ago. I love that guitar. I've wanted a Stratocaster for a long time, but I had a Telecaster I just got for cheap one time, and I was like, it's one of those things where it's like it'll do, and so you just don't want to complain about it for a while. That '95 Honda Civic. That's what that guitar was. It'll get you where you need to go. The wah pedal, I sold you that a while ago. Just I don't play as much lead like Hendrix stuff anymore. I still use those tools, use those things that I learned from a lot of his songs and into what I play now, but it's just not as much, not as heavy as it used to be. I'm kind of stepping into like this more like softer soul sound, and it's interesting, different. I'm kind of having to meet myself there, where it's like, I don't know, a lot of things I don't know about this sound yet, but having fun with it.
What was you were posting about a project a lot during the election, doing all the polls on Instagram. What class was that?
That was for my writing across platforms class last semester. It's like your first class you get to take in Grady. They just teach you about how to write, properly in AP style, and that's where I wrote my first story about Tommy Troutwine, actually, that producer that I've been working with. But we had like an assignment where we had to like use our social media as like a journalism source, and so I honestly still do it now, even a couple months out of the semester, where I'll just read up on current events. I mean, God, we're not running out of problems in the world right now, so there's always something to talk about. Especially in the election last semester, just got into a heat. So I was just like, you know what? I'm curious. So I just did a lot of polls. Is what I did. Is I would just put up a story, be like, oh, so what do you guys think about this? And honestly, you just get a lot of responses that people kind of hold back, but they're not willing to tell you in person, but they're willing to tell you in an Instagram poll. So we got a lot of interesting responses on those things.
Yeah, I noticed people. You got a ton of responses and a bunch of engagement on that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, people are they're willing to respond to a poll, especially if it's just a yes or no question. But yeah, you get a lot of interesting feedback from people, and you're like, didn't know you.
Sometimes I purposely tap the controversial answer.
Oh yeah.
just
I'm
to
sure people do. I'm
see,
sure there's a
like-
little bit
Stir
of
the
bias
pot.
or skew there, but
I stir the pot in
yeah,
social
yeah,
media.
it's fun.
So I think it's I think it's pretty crazy. You said you started like writing poetry in like middle school.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I like knew what poetry was until like maybe 9th grade. Like I knew what it was, but I didn't understand that it was like something that everybody can do. So like what drew you to it as like a middle schooler where you're like, I can do this myself?
I have no idea. It's a great question. Honestly, the first memory that I have to look back on that is my great grandma died when I was in 7th grade. I think I was like 13 at the time, and I wrote a poem for that, for her funeral, and I kind of just like read it in front of my aunts, uncles, grandparents at that, and everyone was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
Confidence booster.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But so that felt good. But that I just kind of grew from there into putting it with a guitar, because people don't read poetry, people listen to songs. I mean, you know,
Right.
some people listen to poetry, but not as frequently as people are going to listen to music. So it's kind of just where my obsession spread is. I would just look into other songwriters and things like that, and I'm like, well, songwriting is poetry. So
Yeah. Would you
Yeah.
ever put your old poems to music? Do you ever do that?
I take bits of them, and that's something we can talk about. Is my songwriting process is like building Frankenstein's monster. Like it's I just take like bits and pieces of things that I've written over time, and it kind of just comes into one finished result. Like
Wow.
Luke knows the song Cage Bird that Bloomfield had, and that came from, I think, something that I wrote when I was in probably 8th or 9th grade, where it was just, look how far he's come along, Cage Bird sings a lonely song. And that was just like a couplet that I had, and I never did anything with it until I was actually like good with guitar. And I think that was my freshman year of college, where I finally was like looking back on old notes and old books that I had, and I was like, what can I work with here? And so I wrote a whole song just around those two lines. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty random. But yeah, to go back to your question, like where did it come in middle school? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It was just kind of just me like developing a love for all kinds of music, and everyone writes a little bit differently depending on
Yeah.
that genre.
So were you like wanting people to read it and hear it, or was it like a lot of like really personal stuff, or is it like kind of a mix of the two?
It kind of started off more personal, but like I said, you know, with just the way that my music has kind of shifted, is just like it's become less personal. Like it becomes
Right.
less of like being profound and more just about like what do people like, what are people
Yeah.
actually gonna pay attention to.
You're putting stuff out for the consumer.
Right, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I mean, artistry in itself is like something that you believe in, but at the same time, it's like, do you want it to pay your bills, or do you want it to
Yeah.
just exist?
That's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, the song is like, this rarely happens among. I feel like this would be the biggest compliment for someone. Like, I can play the whole song like from memory, because that's how good it is.
The
There's
Cage
no-
Bird song?
Cage-
Yeah. There's no
Ooh.
recording of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had learned it.
That's awesome. I really want to
but
hear it
yeah.
now.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloomfield. We talked a little bit this semester because we're kind of all heading in separate directions. I mean, Corona kind of effed over everything, so we're trying to just get everything out that we had, and I think it's like 8 or 9 songs.
Wait,
but-
do you recorded Cage Bird?
No, not
Oh.
yet. I think I have like a crappy like old iPhone recording somewhere of it, but no. But Bloomfield's trying to record like everything that we had, just our whole set, and just kind of get it out there before Sam gets married. Eric's looking at moving to maybe Germany or something like that for his master's degree. So
Wow.
after that, it's just me and Aiden.
So are you going to continue on your own path, and he'll play with Cloudland?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the goal here is, and kind of just my idea is, I kind of just saw things. We're all just heading in different directions, but I still got another, year and a half of me being here. So I'm like, well, I don't want to give up music. I still want to play around somewhere. And with Caledonia Lounge closing, it's going to be harder for, introductory musicians to kind of enter the scene. But I think it'll be fun, a fun new challenge, and it'll be nice just to have my own sound, something that like I have like complete autonomy over, because that's a fun thing with the band, is that you get this melting pot of a lot of different things, and but with myself, it's kind of like, well, do I want to add this? I don't have to consult anybody about it. I'm just going to add it, and so it just kind of becomes my own genre. It becomes like my own full sound, instead of kind of this conglomerate that writing with the band is like.
Yeah. Colton, so Kenny told me that you almost went to the military, and then
That's right.
at the last second you didn't. That's all I know about you, other than you play drums.
Yeah, so that whole thing. So when COVID happened, I one of those people who can't learn online. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I have to be in person. So when all that stuff went down, I just got really like depressed about it. So I was like, I'm dropping out of school. And then I have a friend who's in the Marines. And I remember calling him. I was like, dude, screw school. I'm joining. And he was like, Colton, that's not a really good idea. You're just thinking like based off your emotions, because that's the type of person I am. I'm very like emotionally like intuitive. You know what I mean? And as a Christian, I just always rely on praying about things and looking to like God to help with decisions, especially with a big one such as that. And yeah, basically just after praying, I was just like, yeah, I just don't think it was the right decision. I wasn't joined for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And then, but the cool thing is that it's really helping me focus on music more than I was ever, because recently I've been in like a musical rut. I don't know if y'all ever been in that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the story behind that.
That's so cool. I'm excited for some new demos,
Dude.
some
New
drum
C-Dilly.
solos. I want to hear them.
Yeah, I've been playing more than I have in like the past year. It's awesome.
He brings life to our church's band for sure.
I'm sure he's rocking out.
He was the missing element for so long, and it's all there now.
Because I'm interested in this musical rut thing. So like, what is that? Is that like writer's block for you, or is it like
I wrote, I had this writing class last semester, and it was like a meta piece, but it's like, does writer's block exist was kind of just the topic of it. Is it like, is it that I'm out of ideas, or is it that I just quit working altogether? Right. And so it's this kind of just like what I entered into is like, just force yourself to do it, even if you don't like it.
From like a drummer's perspective, I guess it's just kind of neat for me. I have to get out of it from like venturing to different genres, I think.
Yeah,
because
finding something new.
Yeah, like finding a new sound. I kind of grew up listening to blues and rock and all that, and then lately I've been trying to get into jazz, and I noticed that Buddy Rich over there. That's really
He's the
cool.
goat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's the goat.
I love watching him.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah, just kind of feeling like getting stuck in a routine, just going through the motions, and then trying to find like a new spark that helps you just get out of that rut.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So, you kind of touched on it earlier, but like, is your writing process like, are you sitting down and I'm gonna write a song now, or is it like it just happens and you're like, oh, I got to put this together right now? Like, what does it look like for you?
So last year I made it a resolution of mine to write something every day. And I didn't do it fully the whole year, but I just did as best as I could, especially with Corona and everything. But I'm doing it again this year, and so a lot of times I go just force myself to write something down. That might just turn out to be a journal, but a lot of times it ends up like being a poem, ends up being a song. Not a great refined one at that point. But like I said, I'll just take pieces of those and kind of just put them all together. Meanwhile I'm writing different guitar ideas that aren't necessarily associated with those lyrics at the same time. They just kind of all come together into one thing.
Right.
I can't remember what I tried to Google it, but I couldn't find it. But it was a piece of writing about a writer's muse, like the spirit or God, whatever, who gets into artists and gives them like what they're doing. And it was, the guy ended up summing up like, the muse is just you showing up every day and doing it. No matter what.
Do not try to shortchange the music cannot be done.
What is it?
What was that?
It's do not try to shortchange the music cannot be done. I can't remember what the name.
I like that.
That's good.
That was actually the introduction line of that piece that I wrote last semester.
Have you seen the movie Adaptation?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's kind of about writer's block, because you're talking about like, it's kind of like a meta idea to like write about writer's block, and I watched it with a friend earlier this year, and it's really cool. There's like a movie writer named Charlie Kaufman, who did like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like a bunch of movies in the early 2000s. And he wrote a movie about himself trying to write a movie.
Huh.
And it's Nicolas Cage playing him, and it's one of the trippiest movies I've ever seen.
Oh, is that where he's like sitting on the couch and he's like, I'm hungry, what do I want? Like
and he's
a
like,
muffin.
Yeah, and
Wait,
he's just like
movie?
thinking
Yeah.
it's in his head. He's like, I'm fat, I'm so fat, I'm a bad writer.
Yes.
What's it called?
Adaptation. And basically he's trying to write a movie about this book.
Notes.
That's a real book, and it's like actually him trying to write the movie, but he turned that into a movie.
Yeah,
and it really breaks down like writer's block, and he just like had to do it.
Yeah.
And like he couldn't like worry about it being perfect. And like there's like a lot of lessons in the movies, but that's like kind of what it's about. So I was gonna recommend it.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of that movie because I remember I was like, Nicolas Cage as an author is
it's
it's an
crazy.
interesting.
It is crazy.
I don't think Nicolas Cage ever
actor.
takes anything other than interesting roles where you're like, Nicolas Cage is doing what?
Right.
You're like, okay, we'll
Plays
go
his own
see
twin
it.
brother in
Yeah.
that movie too.
Oh my god.
Of course he does.
National Treasure was his best work,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. I'd have to say.
I feel like, did he kind of fall off there, or Did it go downhill after National Treasure?
I think he peaked.
No. There's been some.
There's
He's been on the
Oh.
rise. That movie Mandy, I heard, is great.
I heard it's really good. I want to watch it.
We should watch it, Charlie.
We should
Okay,
watch
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Or y'all can
It's supposed to be a
watch.
great scary movie. He plays like this crazy dude. But
Oh.
it's just Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage.
He was like an A-list actor, and then he was like a B-. Like there was just this
he,
drop.
had a tough run.
Have you seen the Ghost Rider movies?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
that,
man.
those look pretty brutal. I've
They're
never
not
seen them, but they
good.
look they're
It's like,
bad, right?
I think he just I believe what I've heard about him is like he just kind of takes any job he gets just to like pay his bills.
Yeah.
But
They're either like really good though, or just
really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Samuel L. Jackson never says no to a movie?
Really.
Ever. Like, you could ask him to be in, like, or probably if you were like, I'm making a
I
movie. will
don't
you be in
believe
it?
that.
He's a yes
Samuel L.
man.
Jackson, I'm making a short film. I'd like you to do it.
Swear that, like,
If you
legitimately,
did.
look how many movies he's in on IMDb, and it's like, I would
Really
believe it
is
if he
so
never
many
said no.
movies.
I would believe if you said The Rock did that too.
yeah.
Dude, he's the highest. No, but he's the highest
know.
paid. Yeah.
I know.
So if you can
The
pay
Rock
it,
is the
Highest paid
Oh,
actor
so
last year.
The
you're-
Rock is?
Yeah.
He's not that great of an actor, in my
I-
opinion.
I
That's
think he's a
shocking.
little bit of a
I mean,
one-dimensional.
people love the action.
People do like.
He's the
He's a
Rock.
big man.
That's
He's
my
massive.
What was
Yeah.
the
He was a
movie
wrestler.
was in? It wasn't the Wave. There was like a tidal wave though.
Oh, where
It
he's
was-
like the helicopter
Yes,
rescue man.
it was
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
Storm.
But that movie made like $1 billion.
Oh, that's-
Probably,
people
and he's
ate it
lying
up,
in his
man.
pocket.
And
Oh,
those
I'm
Fast
sure.
and Furious movies when he
Oh
flexed
my
and broke his
gosh.
cast, I was like,
The
what am I
first,
watching
the
right
first
now,
like
man?
the first three are not bad.
I just
And
don't
then
know
it's, like,
how far are
stuff.
they going to go with these. You know, I mean, the
I
last
know.
there was like 12 cars like
Imagine
chained together
how many
being
times
pulled by
I'll buy
like a
movie ticket
plane
for
or
a Fast and
something.
Furious movie, which I will.
What was it in Baywatch? He's like squatting with refrigerators on either side or
sure he is.
something. Oh my gosh!
So, have you ever thought about like movie writing?
Oh man, I mean, I do a lot of like short story writing, and oftentimes I'm like, I wonder what this like look like,
Yeah.
as like even like a short movie or something. But no, I got a friend that does. She's really into film. She just graduated from West Georgia doing film, but she does a lot of my designs for my music stuff. She's a very good designer and stuff in general. But I told her just as a joke, I was like, hey, first movie you write, put me in it. I don't care what
Yeah.
it is, just
I'll
put me in it
believe.
somehow.
See the process.
Yeah.
We watched The Truman Show for the first time
I
last
watched
night.
it recently too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Such a good
what were
movie.
your thoughts? I was blown away.
yeah, I thought it was because the premise gets like ruined for you. Or, like everyone's like, oh, Truman Show, he's in his own show and he doesn't know it. And so it's like you go and
You're
watch it
just
for the first
expecting
time.
it,
Yeah, and
yeah.
you already know it's gonna happen. But I thought it was really interesting. Just like the dude who's just watching him, like the writer of the show is just like watching him, and everyone in reality is like so touched by his life, and I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah.
When he touches the wall,
Mm-hmm.
it's mind
That
blowing.
is-
It makes me cry, dude.
I want to read like more of why it was written, like
Yeah, I don't know what it's
what the
about.
thought
What's the
is
deeper
behind it. There's definitely a deeper meaning. I
Yeah.
feel like
Maybe not. He's probably just
Maybe
like,
not.
Maybe
it's just
not.
good.
That's kind of what I'm bad at, though, when it comes to that kind of writing. Is like, is there a deeper meaning to this? I just like telling good stories.
And that's the thing is like I think a lot of people do that when I don't know, like as a writer, like let's say you get famous in the future, like in interviews, people will be like, "So what did this mean?"
Mhm. What did
this
And
mean?
sometimes it's like it doesn't mean it. Like that as a songwriter, like not everything means things.
Yeah.
that movie Us,
Oh man.
So that like symbolized how we're all our own inner monster,
Yeah.
basically, and how the United States, like U.S. us, is like divided.
boo.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
But also
crazy.
it could mean nothing.
There was
Right,
there was a
yeah.
poet. I think it was an 1800s poet, and I can't remember which one it was. But people would come up and ask him like if this poem means something, like if it means
Yeah.
like it's like I think this means this, and he just agree with them no matter what they would say.
And just they feel better now.
Yeah.
Like, I figured it out.
to me.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Yes, man.
thousands of people walk away with a different perspective, thinking that they're correct about it.
Yeah.
But
So what do you think is like? I don't know if you have an example of like. I mean, you write music yourself. Like, what do you think is like a perfectly written song? Like, if you could get like just like what you think is like the
Ooh.
closest to it.
perfectly written songs. That's a tough question.
Then follow that up with Perfect Record.
Oh, perfect record. I have quite a few perfect records that I could name.
Name 5.
Name 5 perfect records. Hot Take, Songs About Jane by Maroon 5. The first
Fair.
album. Continuum, John Mayer's my favorite album of all time. Led Zeppelin 1 and 4.
Man.
Oh,
So
man.
Billy's
into
going
California.
crazy.
What would be a fifth?
Oh, that was 3.
Fifth?
Oh no, that
That's
was 2.
4.
The Fleetwood Mac album.
Fleetwood Mac is
Dreamer?
yeah, Dreamer.
Queen,
Yeah.
Night of the Opera.
Yeah. All good ones.
Y'all haven't named Rubber Soul or Pet Sounds.
I'm not a huge Beach Boys Beatles guy.
Wow.
I mean, I'll listen to them, and I'm like, I get it. This is
I'm
for
the same
It's,
way
some-
about the
it's
Beatles.
Brian
Oh,
Wilson.
To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar. That's
okay,
five.
yeah,
That's fifth.
That's fair.
I'm with you,
Um,
Charlie.
I'm with you on Pet Sounds.
Yeah, I like Rubber Soul more than Pet Sounds, but Rubber Soul.
I'm not a big Beatles guy. I wouldn't say, but maybe I should just branch out.
Also, Swimming, Mac Miller. Now they're all coming to mind.
Yeah.
I
Come on.
like Mac Miller.
Yep.
Rage's debut.
Oh, yeah.
I think songs with just like, would you say the perfect album is more like when you listen all the way through, it's just like every single song is an absolute
Every
banger.
song matters, yeah.
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 I think it's so bad nowadays how people, or not bad, like people can do it, like it doesn't matter, but I don't think people get the full satisfaction out of music when you just listen to playlists or listen to singles all the time versus really listening through albums. I feel like you really enjoy the music more.
And I think it's also kind of a chicken or the egg thing. Like, is that people listening to albums less, or is that like artists putting out singles more?
I think that's the thing. Yeah, that's the trend right now. Is
Like,
that
it's
everyone
like
just
people
goes
make
for singles.
music for playlists.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put a single out. It'll be on people's playlists. Like,
Mhm.
what caused what? In
Yep.
a way.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's just gone that way more because even nowadays, especially older music, I feel like was made to be listened, through when people had longer attention spans. People still don't go to, like, they listen to like Led Zeppelin's hits, but they won't listen to the full.
I don't think it's I don't even know if I agree. We do have shorter attention spans, but back then, if you're listening to a record, it wasn't easy to just pick a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you kind of had to listen to the whole thing.
Mm.
Whereas like now we can just pick a song, and I feel like maybe the medium has transitioned it more than like the listeners have.
Yeah, I think that the attention span thing is definitely huge on that, though.
Yeah, definitely.
The song that I'm putting out fairly soon, I believe it's next week. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds, and I wrote that intentionally. I call it the Old Town Road effect. Old Town Road is the fastest song to reach 1 billion streams. I believe it's the case, or at least it was
It's
at
like
the time.
2 minutes or something.
It's like 2 minutes and like 25 seconds, 2
Yeah.
minutes 30 seconds, something like that. And so it's like, well, what happened? Well, it's like people can listen to this twice, and
Yeah.
it feels like they listened to it once.
Mm.
And meanwhile, some people are putting out like 4.5 minute, 5 minute songs, and it's like by the time you reach the 3.5 minute mark, and you still like you've
like,
hit like
what's
one
happening?
chorus, you're like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
put me out. But we also live in a world of TikTok, and I mean, what is TikTok? TikTok is YouTube, but a minute long.
We also live in a world of this.
Yeah, and
Not that.
That's the crazy thing.
This
though.
is very
Yeah.
Coexist.
counterculture, I feel like.
It's like it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like,
Joe Rogan is
we
so
talk about
alternative.
this. Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
against has like a
Alternative form of
billion
media.
listeners, and he's like he's underground.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that like podcasts can coexist with like TikTok.
yeah.
And I feel like maybe there's something in that in music where it's like songs are getting shorter, but like what is the opposite effect that's happening too?
Man, I really respect though when people write like 7-minute songs to like 10 minutes. I mean that was so much more common back then, I think,
Yeah.
than it is
Yeah.
now. And I think a lot of it does have to do with there were more like jam bands back
Right.
then. Like you'll see 10-minute songs with like Grateful Dead or
Allman
Allman
Brothers.
Brothers,
Oh, yeah.
like Ramblin' Man.
Oof.
I think it went like 60s. A lot of the songs are short, and then more into 70s.
70s, yeah.
They got pretty long.
They get
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, Stairway to Heaven, and
Yeah.
You can write a 10-minute song and I love it from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's an amazing talent.
I think that one of the nowadays probably my thing that where people don't get as much enjoyment out of music is no one does like intentional listening. How they like no one is like, I'm going to listen to this Queen album or to this like Tyler Childers album, whatever it is, like, because we literally can choose whatever we want, but then people will just hit like blues rock playlist or whatever. And not that that's bad too, especially to find new stuff, but it's like we have unlimited albums, and then people don't, in the same way you choose what you want to watch or choose what you want to read or study about, people are just like, oh, like they want this, and no one like is
Right.
hearing what, like how people don't have when people don't have Spotify Premium because they're like, it's like Corey, I'm just like, it is $5. Like,
Don't
sorry,
hate
that
on
gets
Corey.
me going.
I share a Spotify account with Fendi.
But like,
you know what makes me even more mad? Apple Music listeners. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Oh. Podcast, if you're on
This
Apple.
podcast is brought to you by Spotify. I don't know if I can legally say that, but
Spotify.
I don't know if you can.
But
no,
like Luke,
But
what
he
you're
did.
saying in a friend group back in the day, you know, one person would get a record and everybody would go hang out to like for the purpose of
That's what I'm saying.
listening.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and like
Yeah.
now people don't even listen to music together. You listen whenever you're by
It was an
yourself.
experience. Like when you open up and see the artwork,
Right.
and there's song like
Look at that.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, there was an interesting thing last year that Rolling Stone put out, and they said that overall streaming was down by about 12% during Corona. And it's weird. You'd think that that'd be backwards, like,
Right.
but then you break it down. You're like, well, where aren't people listening to music? They're not listening to it at parties. They're not listening to it, you know, in any social setting at all. Whenever they're with people, so it's like the only time they're listening to
Commute.
music is alone.
Not
Yeah, the
going
commute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. So you're just sitting at
I was
home.
saying, I listen to music when I work, and there's like if you're not going to work because of COVID, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna just listen to it at home typically.
Yeah, I think that's when you really get the most out of it too, is when you're just alone in your room actually hearing it, which is also, it's always nice to have it on when you're driving or whatever, but
Right.
when you can no one really sits down and listens.
I think we've boomered out this podcast a little bit.
I'm sorry everyone. I just think it's a valuable thing that
I think it is a
people
valuable
lost.
thing. Yeah.
So you like, I once stole your Instagram bio for a long time was buy the ticket, take the ride.
Yeah, Hunter S.
Then
Thompson.
I stole it because you changed it, but then I think I removed it because I was like, that's kind of lame to steal it like that. But
gosh.
so you like, have
I
you
just
read,
changed it yesterday. You can go back to it.
I can go back to. But I just read the book though, so I feel like I have
Which
a
one?
right to it.
You
The
read-
one he said.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
what that's the Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blaze Hunter S. Thompson.
Buy the ticket, take the ride.
I like that.
Where are you from?
I'm from Noonan, Georgia.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Do you? Okay, so
Home
you-
of Alan
you
Jackson.
mentioned- Yeah, I was gonna say. So you've mentioned a lot of like influence and stuff. Like, do you find influence in like Southern artists or like in like country music or anything?
Not really. I mean, with the outlaw country that's kind of emerged these past few
Yeah.
years with like Coulter Wall, Tyler Childers, Sturgill
Sturgill.
Simpson, Chris Stapleton, all those people. I love that kind of music. That's some of my favorites. All those artists are people I'm always listening to. But when it comes to like the old country, I just feel like I can't remember what comedian I was listening to, but he was like, you know, I listen to country music and I start relating to things that I've never even done in my life. Where it's like, I go down to the lake or ride four-wheelers. Like I've never done those things. But it's like,
I've
never done this.
I was actually talking about this the other night with my friend Nick. I've like me and him have started listening to this guy named Blaze Foley, who's like a
Clay
artist.
Pigeons.
Yes.
Have you seen the movie?
No, me and him are gonna
that
watch it
Ethan
though.
Hawke?
We're gonna watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'll watch it again.
It's I listen to that song constantly now.
Oh, it's so
basically
good.
he was an artist in Austin in the 80s. And like he lived like one of the toughest lives I've ever heard of. Like he died at 39 because he was like helping out his veteran friend, and
Oh,
the
my
veteran's
goodness.
son was stealing the veteran's money, and he confronted the son, and the son shot him.
sounds like
And that's
American
how he
Sniper.
died. Like he has like one of the craziest lives, and like I mean, there's video like live footage of him playing songs at 35, and he looks like he's 60. Like just like rough living, and it's weird because like his songs are like about that, but I like relate in a weird way. That's
Yeah.
like that where it's like I've never done this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
why do I relate to this homeless dude in Austin?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I feel like lately I've never like I didn't listen to country music in high school or anything, and it's been happening more in college. But I do feel a weird like relation to it, and I wonder if part of it's from being in the South, because like I don't necessarily understand what he's going through, but like I know people just like him,
Right.
and it's like when he says something like in Clay Pigeons, there's a line where he's like, "I'll start talking again when I know what to say," and I think that's like super profound because I've like heard people in the South say stuff like that, and it's just like, dang, like. I know what he's saying. So I was wondering if you found any like relatability in country music or being from the South.
It's weird. Like
It's
it's
my
the
little
gap
soapbox.
between about 1980 and about 5 or 6 years ago when all these
Yeah.
artists coming out. I don't listen to any of that. Anything
Yeah.
before or after.
Yeah.
Hank Williams Sr. I listen to Senior. I listen to Johnny Cash. I listen to
Right.
anything from the 50s, 60s, and things like that. And I listen to the stuff from the past couple of years from even Brent Cobb. Brent Cobb's kind of a smaller artist, but I've seen
I like him. I've seen him
Yeah.
in concert.
Yeah, me too.
He's good.
At the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But my friend, he's introduced me to a lot of those artists, and that's one thing that I do go back to because it's less about like unrelatable things and more. It's kind of more like folk influenced, where it's
Yeah.
kind of like relatable to everybody. Where it's like just love songs, just things that everyone's kind of experienced.
What about you, C. Dilly? What are you listening to?
Recently,
Jazz.
The jazz.
Dilly.
I've been trying to get into jazz a little bit.
dude, I'll admit it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
When I first started drumming and all that, but now I'm totally hooked. Like Dave Brubeck, Miles Davis.
Mm.
And it's weird because some of my favorite drummers early were jazz drummers, but I never paid any attention to the music they were playing. I would just like watch these videos of them playing and try and steal their licks. But now I sort of just giving them a fair chance and listening.
Yeah.
And that music, it's, at first I thought, like, oh, these jazz snobs, like, you know what I mean? But then, now
You became one.
Yeah, dude,
You
I was just about to
joined
say
them.
that. Now I feel like I'm starting to become one. But if I were to, like, suggest anyone for someone who's just trying to get into it, Brian Blade Band.
The Brian Blade Band.
Yeah.
Okay.
get
Never
into
heard
it,
of
dude.
them.
Triple B.
I need to
It's-
try.
It's beautiful because it's not your typical like spang-a-lang kind of jazz music. You'll love it, dude.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All that beat bop, boop bop.
yeah. And then
I like that.
recently,
What?
I like jazz.
This guy thinks everything's
Charlie.
scatting. This guy thinks jazz
Some-
is just somebody scatting.
some neo soul. I've been listening
Oh,
to
yeah.
some neo soul stuff like Tom Misch,
Oh, I love
Yusuf
Tom Misch.
Days, dude.
Yeah.
it's
I
good
was like
stuff.
that with classical music. I heard my whole life growing up in my house, and then didn't get into it till a year or two ago when I started playing classical guitar. But it's weird with, I'm still not really into jazz, but a switch really flipped with me for classical. I don't know, it was more when I started playing it and studying it, but because I don't just listen to guitar music for it. But yeah, there's a lot of music that is kind of drowned out a little bit.
Yeah. I can't wait until I can start going to see more live music.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
as soon as I can. I've took it so much for granted that now I want to go see everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't care what genre
Yeah,
it
that's
is
what I
just
mean.
about.
Like, dude, if they're jamming, playing, sign me up.
All right,
I
let's
wanna
go to an
They're
Imagine
make-
Dragons concert.
Oh God, shoot me down.
Maybe not.
Oh.
That was actually a poll I put up a couple days ago. As I was
The
not about-
Did you
about-
shoot an Imagine
Can we put
Dragon?
up
not about Imagine Dragons. No, about about what he's saying. Not about Imagine
Can we
Dragons.
put up a poll now?
Yeah, we can put up a poll now. What do you want me to ask?
Ooh.
Um,
What's a good one? Let's think of a good one.
But no, I asked one about like live music because everyone's like artists that like I love and support are doing like live stream concerts that you still have to pay for, and I'm like, I just don't want to do that.
Pay for it if I'm watching
gosh,
Ghibli.
I don't
I'll just look up a
understand.
YouTube
Not
video
doing
of
that.
you playing it 5 years
Right.
ago, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like well, I'm just gonna go to YouTube, man. I mean, the one exception to that, I don't even think he charged for it, but Sturgill Simpson when he was recording "Cutting Grass," those two
Yes.
bluegrass albums he
Yeah.
put out,
Opry.
he
So
live
good.
streamed it,
Yeah,
at the
yeah. I
at the
did watch.
Opry, and oh man, it was fantastic work. But like besides that, like when it's like a B-list alternative rock
Yeah.
band that I listen
Yeah.
to, and they're like, "Hey, come check out our live stream," like I like you guys.
I love the effort,
don't-
but it's not the same.
Yeah. Dude, Sturgill.
He's a man.
He's-
I've
Sturgill's
seen
the man.
Jesus play with flames in the lake of
yeah,
fire.
drugs.
I was
Yeah.
standing.
Is this song about DMT? Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
All of it.
psilocybin, damn too.
Yeah.
Marijuana,
Ketamine.
LSD.
Oh, everything.
They all
Yeah,
changed
it's
the
not
way I sing. Love's the only
He had
thing
the
that could ever
Thanksgiving
save my
feast.
life. Yeah. The poll. The poll.
What do you want to ask?
What should we ask? Should it be something completely random?
It can be. I think it should be.
I think it should be.
Like, should it be political?
I
I like when you do the
Let's do
political.
something spicy.
I do a lot of things where it's like, give me a wrong answer to this. Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the best blank? And then I'm like, wrong answers only. And I get some
Okay,
pretty good
those are
responses
fun.
to that. I did one for what's the best substitute for the presidential election, and a lot of people, they had
What'd
like
they
Rock'em
say?
Sock'em Robots.
Talking about
One of my buddies, he said Chipotle Ranch chugging competition.
that's funny.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Are we doing the wrong answers one? Is that what
We
we're
could do
gonna
a wrong answer one.
What do you want to do?
Hmm.
Let's look up.
We'll simmer on that.
You'll
we'll
simmer on it.
I'm gonna type in polls to do on,
Hot topic polls.
on Graham.
On Graham.
How to use? I don't need to know how to use it.
I do.
8th grade
So
Instagram
Colton.
poll ideas.
What's the plan with drumming? Like, do you want to take it?
I want to take it to the next level,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of stuck. I need I could definitely use some advice, and it sounds like you have that advice.
Just put yourself in the room
This
with
guy
some
did it.
sticks and hit a timer.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I don't really have any social media. So I'm probably going to have to swallow my pride on not having any of that.
That's
and
sad.
just-
That's sad that you're gonna have to get
Instagramless
into
Into the mainstream.
Colton.
Yeah,
Don't do
it's-
it.
You're gonna have to
I'm
get on
gonna
a
start selling
hamster wheel
myself
with all of
out,
us.
man.
Sell out.
Don't
Dylan.
do it.
You know what
Don't
also
do it.
helps is like jam tracks on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
that's how I learned how to play guitar solos. Like I sucked at guitar solos for the longest time. I just sat down. It's like, oh well, there's what are these guys?
Now you
named?
shred.
Yeah.
Those ones,
No,
those
it's
ones-
not, it's not that. Like
Now
it's
you
literally like
shred.
there's
Now
like
you shred.
there's this channel that I found. They
That's really
play like
cool.
every song that I love,
and it
and
has
so
the scales up there
Yeah.
for you, so you can like.
it just tells you like the key, and it'll
That's
just start
dope.
playing. And you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Just work
that
with
is
this.
a confidence issue. Like,
Oh yeah.
but I've reached to a point now where sort of don't care what other people think,
Nice.
and I just
Yes,
need to.
brother. Amen.
I just need to start putting myself out there. That's what I'm gonna try
Let's
and
go.
start doing.
I feel like we talk about confidence a lot on the show,
Yeah.
which is funny because it's like you guys are talking about it, and then like our friend Jack, who's like our kicker at UGA, like also has a like I feel like a lot of people our age have like deal with confidence, insecurity, and stuff, and like
You want to say maybe how that relates to social media? You want to go into that topic?
I didn't say it, but
We
if
can.
someone wants to dive in.
Girls
Cameron,
and
build the
boys,
pool.
you are beautiful. All of you.
If God is good, why do bad
Why-
things
no, why
happen to
don't-
good people?
Yeah.
Just on the
The age old,
Instagram.
yeah, yes or no.
Yes or no? Yeah,
Why do bad things happen to good people?
yeah. Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you cried on public transport?
That's pretty good.
That's
Yes,
kinda good.
I cry
I
on
like that.
airplanes.
You cry on airplanes?
Why?
I usually cry on whenever we're taking off. I usually have my headphones in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna allow myself to feel like everything right here
Oh,
Interesting.
as we take off.
On a plane?
Like,
like
fear
every
of
flight.
dying, or are you
That's
like
illogical.
just like you feel like you're in a
Life,
movie? Your life
what-
is a movie.
Yes, I feel like I'm like, where's my life heading? Literally, physically.
Physically
Yeah.
into the air and then back to the ground.
Where am I gonna be in 4 hours?
on public transport? Give me a pose.
Tears.
Have y'all? Is it just me?
I cried
I don't
before
think
getting
so.
on Marta when I was like 8.
Wait, Charlie, when's the last
scared?
time you cried?
I mean, I can't remember.
Liar.
It was last
year. It was last year. Why?
No, like
Jeez,
legitimately, I cried after listening to a song by Claude Debussy.
When was that?
I think it was like last year. It's Claire de Lune. I think you know that one.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
that's beautiful.
I just I was like, oh my gosh, like
Very
somebody
sweet,
made
Charlie.
this. Like that's actually
Wow.
insane. And that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Parker, when's the last time you cried?
Are we doing this? We're really doing this.
I was thinking about this the other day. I can't remember. Somebody else asked me.
Like last week.
That's-
I
I
was
worked-
watching that movie Soul.
Oh man.
I'm watching it next week.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen
Way
it.
behind.
Kenny.
I
I
haven't
worked
seen
at
Inside
I don't
Out.
even know if it's on Disney Plus anymore.
Oh my
That's
God.
how behind you are.
Don't tell me
Straight up.
that.
I worked at this restaurant over Christmas break, and there was something on the wall that they had in the kitchen where it was like, "How many days has it been since you cried?" And like all the girls had to like start over and 0 every day, and like all the
Oh,
guys, like it's
no.
like there were only like 4 guys who worked at the whole place, but me and like the other guys in the kitchen were just like, "I have no idea.
I've never cried.
I've never cried."
That's my answer.
I have only ever seen my dad cry one time in my entire life, and it wasn't even crying. It was like a slight tear for my dog. He had to put, or our dog. He had to put to sleep.
How's that affected you?
Oh no, I haven't. I don't cry much.
Don't like that I laughed at
Cried towards
that.
you.
Yeah.
I think crying can be so good.
It's good.
It
I
can
don't-
be
I
very
don't cry
good.
much.
I like
Sometimes if
crying
I feel
of,
emotionally stove up, I will play Good Will Hunting and I will cry and I feel better after.
I like to cry for happy, or not like cry, but like get
Yeah,
teared
like
up. for
Yeah.
happy
I
things.
like laugh cry a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
I just start like hyperventilating
That's a good stuff.
when something's funny.
Yes, you have a heaving that you
Yeah.
do.
Cameron, what was your first impression of me when we met?
Oh god.
What do you guys think? We're just talking about confidence and Luke's like, do you guys like me?
Well, you were growing out your hair back then, so I mean,
yeah, it was long.
you wore those Birkenstocks. Everybody was like, "This guy's a music hippie."
gosh.
I mean, it's just
you think.
You're just like, oh, I guess he's all right. We went to like Waffle House or whatever.
yeah. That's
Did Luke ask you to go to Waffle House?
it was
Is that
probably
how it
me.
went down?
That's
really?
That's
okay.
always what I do.
He probably asked you that night, what was your first impression of me tonight?
Oh, it's like, well, didn't get in UGA. First impression. Dude, I was terrible at Spanish.
The funniest thing
And
is
that
our
jungle's not
professor
that hard.
lives in my apartment complex. Like, I
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
into him one time, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I live here,"
Derek.
and I'm like, "No, you don't. You're a professor. You're
No,
not supposed to."
Professors make a bunch of money.
All of them.
I think that gave me some real world insight into how much professors make. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you're hearing this.
Sorry, Derek.
That guy was cool. I like.
He was cool.
Derek.
Yeah.
Hola.
We'll tag him in the
Derek.
podcast.
Yeah.
At Derek.
I literally ran into him. I ran into him twice in public and had a conversation with him at different
In
times.
Spanish?
Oh no! If he tried to start speaking
Yeah,
Spanish,
maybe
to
he
me.
came if he was like, "Hola," and then you're like, "Hey, Derek," and you're just so disappointed.
Derek.
In you. He's like,
Yeah.
I failed.
I love calling professors their first name. I think it's so funny.
It's fun. We
Say
have.
that's
Interesting.
disrespectful.
That's entirely disrespectful.
I
to
hope
Luke.
I don't get in trouble for this, but one of our professors quit our school
Ooh.
over the past couple weeks, and she made a TikTok and was like added the school in the TikTok about why
Was she calling them out?
leaving. Yeah,
That's a terrible
Wow.
idea.
One of your
Why do people
professors?
do
Yes.
She
that?
made a
One of my
TikTok?
Great way to
Dang.
like
She
give
has
them
a-
get them
I
to give you
will-
Did you just
recommendations.
get a
for
free
next
pass
job,
in the
right?
class for this semester?
Yeah,
So
like,
burn
I
the
got
bridges,
I
find
got
your
the
dream.
link. I got the link
Burn the
in a
boats.
in a nursing group chat last night and watched it, and I was like, "Wow,
Savage.
it's come to this."
It's a very mature
So-
thing to do.
Yeah.
It is. And then
Very
we
mature.
had a professor in the hospital last week. I hope this isn't breaking HIPAA. It's not. I won't.
We'll take it out.
But we were like, "Hey, like, can you go to your follow-up appointment?" He goes, "He's a professor at UJ." He goes, "Well, me and my roommates don't have cars." Like, that's
How
what
old is he?
said. Maybe like 30.
That broke HIPAA.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Right there.
I baited you. You're done.
And you're pre-med. You should protect me.
That's all I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding.
If there are any
that's not a
lawyers
car.
listening to this
Me and my
podcast,
roommates don't have cars. And
Dude.
Not one of them has. How'd they move there?
like, I didn't know professors in college.
Who
had
goes
hard.
grocery
cars.
shopping? Who takes them to school?
Who
Do they
takes
either ride the
them to
bus
school?
together as a house?
I guess
That'd be
so. Or
sweet.
they have like a tandem bike, maybe, that they
Yeah.
get around.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ride one of those.
he rollerblades to work for sure.
That's actually dope.
That is coming
Understandable.
back.
Legendary.
That is
Yeah,
a,
it is.
I bet you that was one of the most bought Christmas gifts this year.
I bet Allie Merwin called it too.
Yep,
She knows
I
what
bet
she's talking
she
about.
did. We love you, Allie.
Yeah. I was surprised. I think we had 100 views on Jack. Like when I
We're popping off.
When we I just said
We're popping off.
I literally
We're about to go
thought,
full-time.
I literally thought I thought for each one of these I literally was like, this is literally gonna have like four views. It's gonna be like
4 of us.
yeah, or like maybe like 20 like our parents
Our
and then like
parents,
us will
my
click
grandma.
on
The first one got
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
like 70, and then Jax was 100.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to Jax. It was really interesting.
I haven't
Good.
listened to
That
any
makes
of
it feel
them.
good.
I haven't.
He's
Maybe,
just being
maybe
nice.
I listened to it
No,
for
I'm
quality
just-
control, and I immediately called Luke, and I was like, Fendi's mic wasn't working.
Dude, yeah.
We'll have
Is that the
Fendi
guy?
back.
It sounded like he was in the other room or something.
Yeah, he was in the room. He was right there. Fendi,
I thought he was
he
just like, he's
upstairs?
like,
I don't-
yeah, I'm over here.
we'll have him back.
I thought he was like cooking something, and
He was.
just
He did so good. His questions were so good. We'll bring him back
because
The
I
world
had the
needs Fendi.
mics all like now I have it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last time on that episode I was just like they were just all at, so I was like having a hard time.
He has so much insight.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
You said
He
he
asks good questions.
He's from Indonesia.
Yeah.
I don't
he
know if
like he threw something on a basketball court.
yeah, he was
What?
he was the student who threw the basketball court on the game.
The basketball court on the
basketball court on the
Or
game.
he threw the stuff.
So
down.
our freshman year,
he lost the UGA game.
So should we air him out?
I'm gonna try
All
and
because
find-
of Fendi.
So we're at a basketball game, and it's like I was at this game freshman year, and we're playing Mississippi State, and it's like coming down to it's like a 2-point game. There's like 5 seconds left, and they foul the Mississippi State guy. He goes up to the line, like shoots free throws, and before he even gets one off, a stuffed animal bulldog flies from the stands and hits him. Like it either hits him or goes right past his shoulder, and they tee up Georgia, and he gets like extra shots. We lose the game, and Fendi threw the dang bulldog.
You guys remember
And
that?
he's made his penance. He called. He like went to the team and apologized. He apologized to the
has
school.
Coach
Yeah.
Crean's
This
number.
video-
Friends with Coach Tom Crean.
They're friends. And then I remember I was listening to
It
the
was a deal,
radio
though.
like 2 days
Y'all.
later.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's 25K.
It's 25,000 views. We cannot air
Guys,
Fendi out like
no,
this.
People were reaching out to him for interviews, like different like news stations,
And we got him on our podcast.
Yeah,
Well, if you're listening, I do PR work. I'd love to help you
It
out.
was like 2 years ago, but
This news station, they're like, yeah, I was some drunk senior.
it was like Fendi, the sober
That is
freshman.
not the story.
Did you guys watch Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
Oh yeah.
Where
Yes.
Mr. Mosby takes him to the Red Sox
Oh,
game
yeah,
and
and
he
he-
catches the
Yeah.
catches the ball
I
while
was
still
yeah.
in play and like screws the game for the Red Sox.
It's a
I
great
felt so
episode.
bad for
Most
him.
hated man in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Fendi was
He-
the most
he
hated
thought
man in
he was doing
Athens.
something good for Zach.
Thought he was catching them the ball.
Yeah. Dude, Mr. Mosby, no running in my lobby.
Best OG
Let's
Disney
get
show.
Phil Lewis on the podcast.
Well, what I thought I saw like Nick Miller from whatever his name is, Jake Johnson off of New Girls, like in like a UGA seminar or something recently. So, I
Really?
mean, hey, shoot for the stars,
Dude,
man.
yeah, they've been having like the UGA like Zooms or whatever for
Yeah.
like University Union, like John Mulaney and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Sean Mulaney's
he's in
so
he's in
funny.
rehab now. Rip.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting help. Are
Yeah.
you watching the clip right now?
Yeah.
I really hope they don't show Fendi because that would be sad.
They don't never like zoom into, but everyone in the stands, though, like everyone knew.
I thought it was the guy sitting next to him,
Oh, really?
but
Oh,
I was
you
far
were there?
away.
He
I wasn't
dyed
there.
his hair like shortly after that, trying to.
Well, like
describe
those guys
it.
that
That's
were
why
all
he
his-
dyed his
That is
hair.
why he dyed
That's
his
why
hair.
Like those guys that went to DC for the riots, they like all shaved their heads.
That big of a
shaved
deal.
yeah, I saw that where they shaved their beards and they got arrested. Like they
Yeah,
were gonna outsmart
yeah.
the police.
It's like racial or facial recognition won't recognize me now. It's like, all right, cool.
Shaved my face.
Dude, that was something else. You did some polls on that, right?
Yeah.
Did you go to the Capitol?
I knew a guy that went there. He's not going to
Oh,
listen
really?
to this podcast, but I knew someone that was
I went
there.
to high school with a girl who went.
Yeah.
Dude,
And I didn't think she like went to the Capitol, but I was like, you need to like be safe. There
Yeah.
are crazy people.
Yeah.
there.
I knew someone who like went, but did y'all know people who like went inside?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
I
why,
don't
why do
know
y'all
anybody
know
who
people
went
that
inside? I don't know anybody who went
Dude.
inside.
Who?
Hey, friend and knowing somebody are two different things. Let's clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were I knew somebody that went there.
his roommate,
Your best
his dad,
friend is in
actually.
His dad. Don't say that.
Oh no.
No.
Cannot confirm or deny. I'm denying. I'm denying.
I am gonna
What's the
deny.
capital? I don't.
Wait, so you're the guy you know? Did he get like picked up by the FBI?
He got pepper sprayed. Like he posted a TikTok of it, of like him like crying, of like pepper spray in his face. I'm like, why are you doing this? Is humiliating, man.
Yeah, he posted a TikTok of him
That's
crying,
awful.
which is evidence to put him in jail now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
People are crazy.
Guy snitching.
People are
That's
stupid.
how it goes.
It's yourself sometimes.
Hey, really be yourself.
Dude, I stayed up till like 4 last night
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask
to
you.
make a 66 on a test.
2/3.
Found it.
Throw yourself out there.
And I had 2 tests out of that,
How are those?
but I killed. But
Let's go. 2/3. Hey.
But a 66 isn't cutting it these days, boys.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's a Terrence lad.
Parents.
Bro.
What did you think about those North Georgia classes?
Dude, honestly, I thought I've been talking about this a lot lately with my friends. Like, I'm in one class that's like very hard right now. It's Real Estate 4000, and then I'm in 3 or 4 other classes that are not that hard. I mean, they're like knock on wood, but like they're not that bad.
Plastic
Where like
table.
I thought that at UNG, everyone made it seem like every class at UGA is like hard, but there's still like a lot of not that hard classes, and there's some really hard ones. But
Definitely
at UNG,
depends on your
there's-
major, but yeah.
Yeah. What do you like? I thought UNG prepared me pretty well.
Oh
to
yeah, I
come
thought
in.
so. Yeah, I just prepared as one thing, but also I just felt I just felt like it was like so easy sometimes. Like I'm like, this is what I'll do it. I mean,
Yeah. No, most of them were like really easy, but
yeah.
like my bio class, like the tests were like hard.
Yeah.
But then like what didn't happen at UGA? My teacher, like we literally had 36 extra credit points, so that like you could have made a
136 in the class.
Yeah.
Oh
That was a good teacher.
Classes at 100.
Yeah. So
you want to talk about one lie when our high school teachers told us that professors aren't going to be like this in college, and then you get there and one of my professors canceled like 4 of like our class meetings so far, and we're what like 8 weeks in,
Yeah,
or
that's crazy.
8 days in.
like come to my
to some
karaoke
classes.
night for like
Yeah.
an extra letter grade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw this meme. It was like teachers in high school, like that won't slide in college, and it was like that in college, and it was just like like the world's biggest lie.
I got a 100 test grade, and it was for being a ball boy at our soccer game.
Dude, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's sick.
dude.
What school were you doing? Like
I was
college?
at Gordon.
Okay.
Yeah, down in Barnesville.
Barnesville.
Yeah.
How's the poll doing?
Let me check.
Any feedback?
I put up some more.
His Instagram account got deleted.
Yes, we're at 50-50 right now. One vote yes, one vote no.
Oh my gosh, we're seeing engagement.
Usually I get more than that. No, what I've been doing recently with this new
Yikes.
song is what I've been doing with this new song is I've called this the Cameron Bogan Media Team. It's just me making crap.
The video, yeah.
Making crap.
CBMT.
Yeah, CBMT. That's actually what I called myself in the last video. But it's literally just me making like crap posts. Like
Yeah. How you get your brand out.
for the
Memes.
exactly. And like I was like so a lot of artists they go this route of traditional thinking where it's just like I'm gonna post a nice picture of myself and
purism.
say it's coming out next week. I'm like no, I'm gonna take the scene from Napoleon Dynamite where he's dancing to Jamiroquai's
There you
Canned
go.
Heat and dub my song over it to where it fits with his
Let's
dancing
go.
and then post it and be like hey. Go listen to it if you
Yeah,
want.
that's awesome.
And so that's what I've been doing. I was just making crap memes today. I made 3 fake quotes from critics. And so from Rolling Stone Total Landscaping, we have the song raises the question, can Cameron write a song that's not about girls? And the answer is no.
That's good.
The rejected song off a John Mayer album of only deep cuts. That's a quote from a famous celebrity. And Tim says, I'm not even sure he wore a mask when he sang this.
I could hear it.
Dude, that's awesome.
I could hear the germs.
Dude, yeah, if your voice isn't muffled, then that's some bad PR.
Canceled.
Hey, yeah, I didn't know if you knew this, but if you're recording a song in 2021, you have to wear a mask.
Double, I heard.
Double mask,
Double
actually,
up.
according to Fauci.
95 face shield.
has to sound exactly
Yeah.
this. So, good luck, guys.
sound like you're like stuck in a barrel.
Yep.
I find it so odd when, like on Tonight shows and stuff, when like say you're like Miley Cyrus, like she won't have a mask on, but then their whole band will. But it's like they've been tested,
Right.
no doubt, like 4 times
Right.
if they're in that studio. So
But they
all
can't
for-
be
it's all
seen
for the
without a mask.
camera.
Yeah.
but the
It is.
PR,
It's the optics.
that's
All for the
stupid though.
camera.
Yeah, it is.
It's not-
okay.
You figured it out.
I thought you were
Congrats.
okay.
That's
Sorry, man,
it.
I'm not defending
I was
public
about to-
relations. Sorry, as a PR major, I didn't mean to.
No, I mean that's the stuff that we talk
Crowd
about.
your
You know,
space.
we talk about Morgan Wallen. You know, last week screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
That
He
guy.
did screw the.
Okay, so
I
as
mean,
a,
but
okay.
it's like you look at that case and you're like,
Yeah, as
it's
a
like, am
PR
I
person,
shocked?
what would you
Am I
do?
shocked that Morgan Wallen did this? I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
No, I don't know the guy, so I can't say that. But as like a PR
He
person,
seems like a guy who would say that. I'm sorry.
how would you handle that
You're not
situation
condoning the
as
action
like
at
a
all.
guy who's helping out PR?
I mean, this one of my buddies listens to him, and I text him as soon as it happened. He's like, "What do you think about all this?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, he's going to do publicity stunts. He's going to put out an apology
Yep.
video, and
Which he
say that-
did.
and he did that yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that. And we talked about that. But he's going to have to go away for a little while.
Yeah.
His label dropped him, so he'll probably have to go away for probably 6 months, a year. I don't know. Usually, it's going to take a while for people to just reemerge into the public persona, because the court of public opinion is what screws you more often than just going to jail for
The
something.
actual court.
Yeah, the actual court. Because people aren't as forgiving as the penal system is, where you can get out in 5 years. It's like there's no guarantee there. Some people still can't act from things that they did 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Y'all talking about that in PR a lot, probably.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's cool. I think it's unhealthy for society if like someone like he put out a legitimate apology and then
but now we
The
have to
fact that
see a
people
change
can't
of
move
action.
on.
But yeah,
yeah,
you have to see
yeah.
a change of action before
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
but that's not how you function with like if you wrong me in the house, I'm not gonna not support you or be your friend because I need to see a change for like 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also like an incredibly different situation, I think, than just you wronging me. Because like what he did like was extremely offensive
And the
and
approach
hurtful
is
to like a large group of people.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
he
I'm not-
got caught. And
He
And it's something that like the fact that you'd say that anyways, especially in a time when like I don't know,
no, it's incredibly offensive,
it's much
and he
different than
shouldn't have
just you
said
wronging
it.
me at the house.
Yeah, but then again, it's like how when the golfer a few weeks ago said a homophobic slur when he missed a putt. It's just like why I obviously I'm not saying it's very 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 wrong. Like you shouldn't say it. But then why does everyone have to drop him right away? Like it's like if he's truly sorry, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Like why is it that
I mean, you can come back. That's the thing, though. Is it's like, especially with we don't have to dive too far into cancel culture, but it's just the way that it works. It's a plague. It's going to eat you up as soon as it happens, and it's something difficult that is an emerging topic that we really don't understand too well. But it's just like at this point, we know that you can't really fix anything with a little bit of time, and just get out of the limelight for a little while. Just shut up. Don't say anything. Don't do any press other than an apology video, and then come back in 6 months and hopefully you have a changed attitude.
But do you think that Morgan Wallen should have to do you think his label should drop him?
I mean, I don't know. And that's why I'm like glad I don't make those decisions.
Yeah.
I can make my own decisions for like what I'm going to listen to and support.
The term they kept saying is suspended. I don't know if that means that he just got dropped
Right.
altogether, or if
I have
it's
no
literally like a school suspension where he can come back after some period of time.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is either, of course, but
Was it his I heard it was his second time saying something like that.
Oh yeah, he's
He's had a history of like,
I mean, he made out with like college
Missteps
girls in
during
an
COVID.
Alabama bar during COVID.
Yeah.
It's like, good job, buddy.
yeah,
what do y'all think would
He's like
happen
doing it
though
to
if
himself.
100%. Yeah, and it's
I
like,
don't
and
feel
like you,
sorry
it's
for him
like,
at all.
And like you said, like he got caught. Like it's not like
Yeah.
he did it.
If somebody wasn't videoing
Yeah.
it,
And so
you
it was,
know,
and he
it
would have,
would've
and he's.
been-
I mean, there maybe have been other instances where he, did it without a camera on, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad it's not my call as the
Yeah.
label person. To be like, do we drop this person?
it just seems dumb how that if this was 15 years ago, they wouldn't have done that. Because they personally, I feel like, don't care.
Well, it's
they
a
just
social
care
media
because there's an outcry
Yeah.
of the people.
Yeah.
Versus if this was 20 years ago, the same people could have been in their shoes who had the call to like if they suspend them, and they wouldn't have done it just because they personally don't care, but they know that the people like are wound up.
Right.
But do you think we're better now?
It's an accountability
And
thing.
that there's more accountability.
Yeah, I think there's more accountability, but at the same time, the way I said, like, I don't know. I think if the people still want to listen to him, like, there's a lot of people who probably didn't go to who, if the people don't want to go see him, they don't have to go see him. But then there's a lot of people who couldn't go see him who paid to see him, even though they got refunded, but they paid to see him and then they can't because
Right.
they just. So I'm just saying, like, is that the right thing or is it not the right thing? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the moral thing to do is. Obviously, what he did is, again, like, very, very wrong. But I mean, you would get fired from a job if you said that. Like, you'd get
Right.
fired
That's
from
the
your
thing.
Chick-fil-A job, or your, like, if you're a lawyer, you might get fired from your firm. So
This is when completely unrelated, but when Dwayne Haskins was kind of sucking this past season in the NFL, got dropped by the Washington football team, and Booger McFarland went on and he said, "Look, this is your job. You want to consider yourself an entertainer, an athlete. This is your job, and it's like you can act like something on social media and all this. Great, come back." Perform, do your job well, and that's where it falls off a lot with musicians, with athletes, and things like that. Just anybody that's an entertainer of some sort. So this is your job, and you got to, maintain a good reputation in front of your boss, in front of your constituents, in front of everyone that you represent, and everything like that. And just do a good job. Don't do anything stupid because people are paying attention.
that's right.
It's good.
Boom.
Be a professional.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can maintain a persona and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, you just got to do what you do and do
There's
it well.
definitely a gray area where like your career becomes your personality.
Right.
And that's where it's like when people mess up, it's more than just like you messing up at your job, because it's like, well, that shows like your personality. There's like a personal fault in that. You know what I mean?
Character.
And that's when it becomes like an accountability needs to be had rather than just like a firing if somebody messed up at their job.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
There's no write-ups in the court of public opinion.
No. It's a
Fortunately,
very
it doesn't-
interesting topic that I am not qualified at all to talk about.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's always like dicey to talk about this stuff, especially on a public forum like this. 'Cause like I feel so unqualified to like talk about
Do you
it.
think Joe Rogan's qualified to talk about anything?
No, and I don't.
UFC?
No.
I don't at all. And that's the thing. I like
Well, no, I
That's
think
why he has experts on him. What he does.
exactly,
I mean, yeah.
and like
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
in no way
Yeah.
claiming to be an expert at
Yeah.
anything.
no, I think we all. I don't think there's any.
It's good
'cause
to-
morally, we all. I feel like morally, we're all on the same page with what's right and wrong. But
Right.
then when it comes to like how should the public or how should companies deal with, when someone says something like this, I think is open for discussion. And I don't think there's as much of a, no pun intended, black and white, like way to go about it. I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely not a black and white way to handle it.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of gray in everything.
yeah.
There's something. in
There's
everything.
something. There's a little something in everything. That story's
Yeah.
for another time.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. That was fun. That
kinda went all over the place.
We got
That
a
was
little,
great.
little wound
I
up there.
like that.
Woo!
Yeah. this
I
is
learned
cool.
something. We
I
hope
like
you
it.
did too.
Cameron, that was fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me
You
on.
come back on, man.
Absolutely.
Colton. Nice to.
See
we
Billy,
met brief for like
co-host.
30 seconds today, but
Colton,
nice
come
to-
back,
Yeah,
man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I'm
everything,
inviting
dude.
you back.
Yeah.
And also,
Well,
listeners, if you think you have something cool to share,
Yeah.
submit an interest
Come on
form and
by.
we'll review your
Unless your name is
application.
Jeff.
Jeff will be
No,
on the
in
podcast.
fact, if your name is
No.
Jeff.
Especially if your name is Jeff. I would rather have Jeff on here than.
Me too.
Luke Turpin, don't come in here either.
Yeah, that dude can stay away.
Yeah.
I think we should get Corey, Jeff, and Palmer. All three of them.
Yeah, you would. All right, we'll see.
Are you gonna buy the mic?
Maybe when this takes
Are you
off
gonna
a
buy
little
the extra
more.
mic?
I'll sit that one out.
Because you'll be on a date with somebody else. Kenny wants to go on a date, by the way. Kenny's single. We forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny's single. Somebody take Kenny on a date.
I'm not desperate.
Eh. That sounds like it.
The meh meme. What a good time, folks.
That was good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Cameron, thanks for coming on.
Dude, aren't you about to head out?
Yeah, I got my car packed up.
Where are you going?
Back to Noonan. 2 hour drive ahead.